So for this first one, I think most of you got it. You just need to be careful, distribute the negative, combine like terms. You do the real component first, the imaginary component second, and this is your simplified answer. Remember, think of i's like x's. Sorry, that was the president calling me. Anyways, so for number 2, you need to make sure that you FOIL and distribute. And when you do that, you will get all of this. Just don't forget, you replace I squared with -1, and that is why we get negative and then -1. So it becomes +1, and 1 and -8 is -7. Okay, for this next one, the thing you got to be careful with is you are writing the expression 1 minus 7i 2 times, and then you FOIL. For number 4, you are distributing 2i to the 5th to both I cubed and -7i to the 7th. Remember, I to the 5th times I to the 3rd, you add the powers, and that's why you get I to the 8th. So you get 2i to the 8th minus 14i to the 12th. I to the 8th, you either know that it's 1, so you would get 2 times 1, which is 2, or if you use the rotation trick, and you rotate counterclockwise 8 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you end up at 1. Remember, you can always take the power, whatever it is, like if the power was 13, you take the power, you divide by 4, so in this example, 4 would go in evenly 3 times with a remainder of 1, and whatever the remainder is going to help you get that answer. So for I to the 13th, if it's remainder 1, we would start at the 1 spot and rotate 1 to the left, and we would land on I. So I to the 13th would be I. That's a separate problem. Now for number 5, you need to multiply by square root of -48. So I would actually do this problem this way. There's a few ways to do it. I would simplify it in the end. So I would do 3 square root of 48 times square root of 48 over square root of 48. So you get 3 square root of 48 over 48. So then from there, I would simplify under the radical. And when you simplify square root of 48, if you look over here, you'll end up with 2 times 2 square root 3, which is 4 root 3. So on top, we would have 3 times 4 root 3 all over 48. Then on the top here, you have a 12, and you can divide the numerator and denominator by 12. So you would get square root 3 all over 4. So for number 6, remember you need to get rid of the I in denominator, so you can multiply by I over I, and don't forget to distribute on top. So that's why you get -I plus 8i squared. You replace I squared with -1, so you get -8, which you write first, minus I, which you write second, all over 1. Remember, anything over 1 leaves you with what's in the numerator. For number 7, you have to multiply by the conjugate, so you would do 4 minus root 7 on top and bottom. Remember, for this denominator, you're going to have the first term, which is 4 squared, minus the second term squared. So you end up getting 16 minus 7 under the radical. So 16 minus 7 gets you 9. Then if all 3 terms are divisible by same amount, which they are, 3, you get 4 minus 1 root 7 over 3. You don't need to write the 1. Similarly, for this next one, you multiply by the conjugate, so you just change the sign from positive to a negative, do same thing on top and bottom. The denominator is the easy part. Remember, you just do the first term squared minus the second term squared. So that's how you end up with 36 minus I squared becomes the -1. So you get 36 plus 36, because the double negative, and that's what gets you 72 on the bottom. And then on top, you just have to FOIL, right? just like we were doing in the beginning problems, combine like terms, and you get 30 plus 9di on top. You can simplify. You can divide all these terms by 2. And so you end up with 15 plus 45i over 36. I will make YouTube channels for each page. So look at the next YouTube channel for page 2.